Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsair. As always, it's great to have you back for another terrific show. Before we get in, let's jump into the goals of EQ Video Tip. Welcome back. We've got a great show as always, and we're going to talk about a morning routine that will save you 20 hours a week. Now, I have to admit, I was very skeptical of this at first, and this episode, you have to take things that work best for you. And it comes to us from a gentleman by the name of Ben Hardy, who writes a great article about how the most productive people get more things done in less amount of time. And we're probably wondering, how is that possible? Maybe this person doesn't have kids, or a dog, or a cat, or a spouse, or just lives a life where he or she doesn't interact with anyone. Well, that's not exactly the case, but we're going to talk about tips and ways to make yourself more productive early on in the morning and to ensure you get that boost that you need to make yourself as productive as possible throughout the day. And in fact, there's some research that shows that countries like Luxembourg, that the average worker there only works about 6 hours per day, so a total of 30 hours for the entire week, but makes more income than people who are working double that amount of time in other countries as well. Let's jump in, talk about the different tips, and remember, this is not a Pollyanna type situation where everything is perfect. You have to adapt and make these tips best for you. It's a double episode, so hope you enjoy it. Let's jump in right now. Tip number 1, quality versus quantity. That's something that we really need to focus on. When athletes train for sporting events, they go through bursts of intensive workouts for maybe 30, 60, even 90 minutes. Then they rest their body, recuperate, recover, and go from there. And the research has found the same applies in the business world. No one's able to maintain that high performance for 3 hours straight or 5 hours straight. After a while, our brains start to wander. We start looking at social media or our phone or whatever else that may be out there to distract us. So, how do we get ourselves into that peak performance so that our working time is best? One of the things that this author, Ben Hardy, talks about is making sure you give yourself bursts of time. So at the first moment, maybe take a 30 to 60 minute burst when you first start working in the day to really focus on whatever the most important task at hand or the more complex one at hand, because that's when your brain is fresh. Take a moment, focus for 30 to 60 minutes, then take a break. Make sure you get a good 5 to 10 minutes in so that you have a moment to refresh your mind and then refocus yourself. And avoid things like social media, email, other things that would be a social distraction or a mental distraction when you're focused for that first burst. Again, that burst might start with 60 minutes at first, and then the next one might go down to 30 minutes. But try to take bursts, and again, focus on quality versus quantity. Tip number 2, your first 3 hours will make or break your day. Now, many people are saying, well, my first 3 hours are dealing with my kids or my spouse or my dog or carpool, whatever it might be, and that's okay. What we need to make sure is that when we have time during those first 3 hours, we're laser focused on the most difficult tasks that we're going to have during the day. Why is that? Well, research also confirms that your prefrontal cortex is laser sharp during that time, and you have the most willpower to not check social media or not go for that extra break or call a friend or do that text message. So remember, that first 3 hours of the day is going to be something that you need to work on, the most complex task, to ensure that you have the most productive day. Tip number 3, believe it or not, exercise later in the day. While we all want to get up and do that great exercise routine, exercise actually drains us a bit and we need to recuperate afterwards. Research here says if you can, try to move your workout not to the first part of the day. So think about where you want to put it, and we'll talk about where it should be later on in this episode. Tip number 4, start with protein in terms of your day and what you're eating. Proteins last longer in the stomach because they take longer to break down, which avoids you from having those hunger pains, and it also keeps your blood sugar level very steady. You want to be in that steady state as opposed to that sugar rush where you're really high and then go really low, or you're craving all different snacks. So think about having some kind of protein-rich breakfast to start your day to ensure you're as focused as you can be during your work hours. Our last tip, try to meditate or do some mindfulness or journaling early in the day. Now, most people will say to me, again, I'm so busy, I'm running around like a crazy person, I don't even have 2 minutes to go to the bathroom, and I can attest to that as well. But find time and put it into your day or into your schedule, 5 minutes to focus your day, understand what your schedule is going to look like, put down together your big picture goals of what you're looking to accomplish. Even if it only takes 2 minutes, it's fine to take that mental moment to give yourself a chance to focus your energy, understand your goals, and make sure that you are focused to accomplish everything that you want to do within that time period for that day. Remember, everyone has craziness in their lives, whether it's a spouse, a significant other, kids, pets, whatever it might be. Try to take 5 minutes as best you can early in the morning to get that laser focus as well. That hopefully will give you a chance to be sharp for the rest of your day. That's a wrap for the first half of how to make yourself more productive during your daily routine. Remember, not all of these tips by Ben are perfect for everybody, but use them and customize them to help make yourself more productive every week. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.